FIRASH, FARIEHIN and RASHID. So today my group members and I will explain what is idealism in international relations. My group members consist of 5 members that will be presenting about the topic today. So let's get into it. As for the introduction, idealism is one of the big theories used to understand how countries interact with each other. Idealism is based on the belief that international relations should be guided by moral values, ethics and cooperations, not only by power and self-interest. Idealists believe that countries are capable of working together peacefully. They argue that diplomacy, international law and international organizations can help reduce conflict and create stability. The main figure linked to this theory is Woodrow Wilson, the former US president after World War I. He proposed the 14 points and supported the creation of the League of Nations, which aim to prevent future wars through collective security and dialogue. So in simple terms, idealism sees the international community as capable of progress. It assumes that humans are rational and that states can cooperate for the common good. So the main idea of idealism is that peace is achievable when nations cooperate, respect international rules and share common values. So let's moving on to the next slide, which is about importance of idealism, that will be presented by Hakim.
Hi, I'm going to present to you guys on my part, which is the importance of idealism. To make it simply, idealism is defined as the belief that your ideals can be achieved. While realism focuses on power and conflict, idealism on the other hand focuses on how the world should be. For my first point, idealism is important because it encourages global cooperation. This means that international organizations can help countries deal with the lack of global government. For example, is such as NATO, United Nations, and ASEAN. By this, it can help facilitate cooperation on issues that no single country can solve alone, such as trade dispute, pandemics, or war. For my second point, one of the many importance of idealism is that it uses diplomacy to resolve conflict. Apparently, idealism views war as a failure of the system and as something that can be prevented. So, it prioritizes diplomacy, negotiation, and mediation over using military force. The significance of this is that it provides diplomatic mission, proving that many international crises can be solved at a table rather than on a battlefield. This helps shape many foreign policy among nations to promote peace and democracy while also safeguarding their sovereignty. For example, of Malaysia's foreign policy is such as ASEAN-centric policy, which is for regional cooperation between Southeast Asia, and Umatic diplomacy or Islamic solidarity that focuses on morality, human rights, and international law towards the conflict in the Middle East. For my last point, the idealism is important because it focuses on collective security. So, unlike realism that says every country must buy weapons to protect itself, idealism believes that countries should protect each other. This means if one country is under attack, everyone else step in to help. This means that countries share security instead of spending all its money on military power, which allows smaller nations or developing nations to focus on budget, on education and economy rather than just weapons. For example, that can be done is such as military alliance, economic sanctions and UN authorized mission to protect sovereign borders.
Today, I will be presenting the strength of idealism. The first strength of idealism is that it promotes peace and cooperation. Idealists believe that peace should always be prioritized over war and conflict. Instead of using military force to solve dispute, countries should engage in diplomacy and negotiation. Through discussion and mutual understanding, nations can resolve disagreement peacefully. In addition, idealism encourages international cooperation, and many global challenges such as climate change, pandemic, and economic crisis cannot be solved by one country alone. Therefore, the cooperation between nations are needed. These strengths make idealism important because peaceful solutions help maintain global stability and reduce unnecessary conflict. The second strength of idealism is it emphasizes on international law and institutions. Idealists believe that international law and rule can help regulate the behavior of states. Just as law maintains order within a country, international law helps create order in the global system. Idealism also support international organizations and institutions that help countries resolve disputes peacefully. A good example is the International Court of Justice, which provides legal solutions to conflict between states. By encouraging countries to follow established rules and legal framework, idealism helps create a more organized, predictable, and fair international environment. The third strength of idealism is it focuses on human rights and morality. Idealists believe that international relations should not only be based on power and national interests, but also on ethical value and justice. Human rights, equality, and human dignity should be protected regardless of nationality, race, or the religion. This perspective encourages government to make decisions that are morally responsible and beneficial to society. Furthermore, idealism supports international effort to protect vulnerable population and promote social justice. As a result, it contributes to a more humane and ethical global society. The last strength of idealism is that it encourages democracy. Idealists believe that democratic governments are generally more peaceful and accountability to their citizens. This idea is supported by the democratic peace theory, which argues that democratic countries are less likely to go to war with one another. Democracy promotes transparency, public participation, and respect for individual freedom. When governments are accountable to their people, they are more likely to pursue peaceful policy rather than aggressive action. Therefore, the spread of democratic value can contribute to reducing conflict and strengthen the international peace. Thank you. That's all from me.
Next is the weakness of idealism theory in international relations. Although idealism promotes peace, cooperation, and morality, many scholars argue that it has several limitations when applied to real-world international politics. The first weakness is that idealism is often considered too idealistic and unrealistic. Idealists believe that countries are willing to and act according to moral values. However, in reality, states usually prioritize their own national interests. Governments often make decisions based on economic benefits, political interests, and security concerns rather than moral principles. Because of this, critics argue that idealism is too optimistic about how states actually behave. According to the expert, states are primarily motivated by power and national interests rather than morality. Therefore, idealism does not always reflect the realities of international politics. The second weakness is that idealism ignores power and security concerns. Idealists focus on cooperation and diplomacy, but they often underestimate the importance of military power and national security. In reality, countries invest heavily in their armed force because they need to protect themselves from potential threats. For example, despite the existence of international organizations and diplomatic effort, major conflicts such as World War II still occur. This suggests that power and security remain important factors in international relations. The third weakness is the weak enforcement of international law. Idealism assumes that international law and institutions can regulate state behavior. However, unlike national governments, international organizations do not have strong authority to force countries to obey their decisions. As a result, states may ignore international rules when those rules conflict with their national interests. This becomes even more challenging when powerful countries refuse to comply with international decisions. According to Mearsheimer in his journal, international institutions have limited ability to influence the behavior of powerful states. The fourth weakness is the failure of League of Nations. The League of Nations was established after World War I to maintain international peace and prevent future wars. However, it failed to stop aggression by countries such as Germany, Italy, and Japan, and ultimately could not prevent the outbreak of World War II. This failure demonstrates that international institutions alone are not enough to maintain peace if they lack enforcement power and cooperation from major states. Based on that, while idealism provides valuable ideas about peace and cooperation, it faces significant limitations. It is often criticized for being unrealistic, overlooking power politics, relying on weak enforcement mechanisms, and failing to prevent major conflict. Therefore, many scholars believe that idealism should be combined with other perspectives to be better understand international relations.
Today, I will explain the impact of idealism on international relations and how this theory has influenced the real world from the past until today. Idealism is a theory that believes countries can achieve peace and stability through cooperation, international law, diplomacy, and shared moral values. Unlike realism, which focuses on power and national interests, idealism argues that countries can work together to solve problems and create a better international system. The influence of idealism can be seen in many aspects of international relations. Today, I will focus on four major impacts. First, the establishment of international organization and global governance. One of the biggest contributions of idealism is the creation of international organizations that encourage cooperation among countries. After World War I, many leaders realized that war caused massive destruction and suffering. As a result, the League of Nations was created to prevent future conflicts. Although it eventually failed, it inspired the establishment of the United Nations after World War II. Today, the United Nations play an important role in maintaining peace, providing humanitarian aid, and encouraging cooperation between countries. Other organizations such as World Bank, IMF, WTO, and ASEAN were also established based on the idea that countries should work together instead of competing through conflict. For example, ASEAN has helped maintain peaceful relations among Southeast Asian countries, including Malaysia, despite differences in political system, cultures, and national interests. This shows how idealism has changed international relations by promoting cooperation through institutions and common rules. The second is the promotion of human rights and humanitarian values. Another important impact of idealism is the development of global human rights standards. After World War II, the world witnessed terrible human rights abuse, which led to the creation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. This document established the idea that every human being deserves basic rights and freedom regardless of nationality, race, and religion. Today, many countries and international organizations speak out against human rights violations around the world. Examples include international response to the Rohingya crisis in Myanmar and humanitarian assistance provided to the victims of war and persecution. Malaysia has also supported a humanitarian effort, especially regarding the Palestinian issue and assistance to Rohingya refugees. This action reflects the idealist belief that countries should care not only about their own interests but also about human welfare and justice. Next is the advancement of diplomacy and peaceful conflict resolution. Idealism believes that dispute should be solved through dialogue and negotiation rather than war. This idea has influenced modern international relations significantly. Today, countries usually try diplomatic discussions, mediation, and international negotiations before considering military action. For example, the United Nations has played a role in mediating peace agreements in various conflicts around the world. Peacekeeping missions are also deployed to help maintain stability in conflict areas. Malaysia itself has contributed to United Nations peacekeeping mission in countries such as Lebanon, Bosnia, and Timor-Leste. This demonstrates how idealism has encouraged countries to prioritize peaceful solutions and diplomacy instead of violence. The last one is global cooperation in solving international challenges. In today's world, many problems cannot be solved by one country alone. Issues such as climate change, pandemics, natural disaster, and refugees crises require international cooperation. Idealism encourages countries to work together because these challenges affect everyone. A good example is the COVID-19 pandemic. During the crisis, countries shared scientific research, medical information, and vaccine to help control the spread of the virus. Another example is the Paris Climate Agreement, where countries agreed to cooperate in reducing greenhouse gas emissions to fight climate change. Malaysia has also participated in regional disaster relief efforts through ASEAN and international humanitarian programs. These examples show how idealism continues to influence international relations by encouraging collective action for the common good. In conclusion, idealism has a major impact on the international relations by promoting international organization, human rights, diplomacy, and global cooperation. Many important institutions and practices that exist today, such as the United Nations, ASEAN, peacekeeping mission, and humanitarian initiative, are influenced by idealist principles. Although conflict and power politics still exist, idealism has helped create a world where countries increasingly cooperate, follow international rules, and work together to address common knowledge. Thank you. That's all from me.
Conclusion: Idealism offers a hopeful view of world politics by focusing on peace, cooperation, and ethical responsibility among nations. It's stressing on the importance of diplomacy, international law, and global institutions in maintaining the international stability. Idealism has strongly influenced the modern international system, including the development of organizations like the United Nations and the promotion of human rights. However, critics argue that idealism can be too optimistic because it may underestimate power struggles and national interests. Even so, idealism remains an important theory because it encourages countries to seek peaceful solutions and work together for global progress. So overall, while idealism may not explain every aspect of international relations, it continues to serve as a valuable guide for building a more cooperative and peaceful world. So, thank you.